What's happening, Blades? Welcome back to the Blades Ramble. Proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you have a growing business and you want to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. What about that? I mean, absolute sickener, innit? Absolute sickener. A lot of people didn't give us a chance today. If you'd have offered at least 50% of the fan base a narrow 2-1, you'd have taken it, I think, or some would have taken it. I don't believe in free hits, but I'd have taken a point. A lot of people saying about the referee, and he didn't know what he. I agree, he didn't know what he was doing. In terms of the 12 minutes, I think he's offset that from the minutes that didn't get added in the first half. Either way, it's too long. It's there's not been a significant injury. There hadn't been a sending off at that point. I mean, the first thing to say really is, that game stops at 95 minutes. We're absolutely lauding the entire team. What a fantastic effort. I have to hold my hands up and say the two players I've been calling out, not calling out because I've acknowledged that they've had a good start to the season, but I have questioned their quality. Wes and Jack Robinson, I thought were absolutely outstanding today. Absolutely outstanding. And, it's an absolute hammer blow. I thought Luke Thomas also did very, very well. We're so close, weren't we, to getting such a historic victory. I think that's the latest turnaround ever in Premier League history. So, it just shows, doesn't it? And listen, we're not going to get anything from these officials. I don't particularly think that they were the reason to blame. I think the other side of the coin that you've got to look at is our mentality. And I'm throwing it out there as a question rather than a statement. That is 4 goals we've lost in the dying moments of games, and it's cost us 5 points. To be sat on 6 points now would be, I wouldn't say deserved, but how much more comfortable would we be? And do you question the players' mentality in terms of not being able to see a game out? Something that we'd worked on so much. It's just... I'm glad I'm not doing it straight after the game, this, because you'd have got a different response. I were absolutely raging. I didn't see McBurney sending off because TV had gone off, or I'd left my dad's. So I watched it with Andy the Blade, and we were both saying how well we'd done, and we're an absolute sickener. It clearly is. He's fuming. He's fuming that Kulusevski don't get a red for his flying forearm on Wes. He's fuming that Ollie's been sent off for apparently just saying, "Look, ref, he's got my shirt. That's a booking. Second yellow." Maddison chasing down the referee. That's why it's thumbnail. I thought, I like Spurs in terms of, I love what Postecoglou's doing. I think they're a good side. And the one thing I think we do have to sort of step back a bit and say is, well, there's a couple of things. There's the mentality I think we need to look at. And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just putting it out there. There's also the quality, the overall quality of the defense. I think this highlighted to me the whole. I did a video on squad depth yesterday and analysing how good we are. And Basham, I thought, were poor today. One of the few sort of negatives, unfortunately. But we haven't got the depth to replenish the squad when our first 11 goes down. So, and potentially picked up another couple of injuries today. Hamer went off. I hope to God that's not serious. Bogle as well. Oh, obviously, clearly hope that ain't serious, particularly if George is still out. So potentially some big blows for us there. I'm absolutely gutted. I can't say any other, to be honest. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to jump into your comments while I try and check it. Thanks to Mrs. Ramble, who brought me a cheeky Vimto to enjoy. 12 minutes is a joke, says Luke. Yeah, I think that was referee making up for earlier mismanagement, which you can't do. You can't just create more time when it's been allocated already. We started with a good lineup, except for Bash. I liked starting McAtee and Thomas. Bringing on Trusty and Davis was great. And the defensive mistakes, continually giving the ball away, cost us again. Yeah, how many times are we going to get done in the death? Thank you, Mr. Vancouver, for your comment. But yeah, I was surprised to see McAtee. Pleasantly surprised. Obviously, we're in my team. In what I would like to have seen line up. Yeah, but it looked like it might have been a game early for him, to be honest. This is what me and my dad were saying. He's, I wouldn't ever say I'd prefer Norwood to come in, but at least, I was surprised to see McAtee. We're very attacking. I don't really think he got much of a grip on the game. So it were an interesting choice. How wasn't Van der Veen sent off? Van der Ven, whatever he's called. But I know, I agree, pal. The officials need to get off the top sixers. It's just a joke. McBurney was decent. And that Pratt Madison was at it all game. Keep going, Bladesman. We deserve more out of the games. Prem's a farce. I have to say, I thought McBurney were excellent today. Absolutely excellent. Big Six bias once again. Them diving all over the place. Yet no cards for simulation. Absolutely right. Yet Robbo's gets booked for what? Kicking the ball. That was a really strange one. So it's our free kick. Robbo looks like he gets caught out here. I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to say. Excuse me. Apologies if anybody got that. Right. So Robinson, there's a free kick on edge of our box to us. Robinson tries to get clever and kick it against Son to try and make out like he's not got far enough in time and ref, you should be booking him potentially, that sort of thing. Robinson misses Son, I think, or it goes through his legs or something of that nature. Son twigs that the free kick's been taken, runs after the ball, as you would, and retrieves the ball. Robinson chases him. You think, oh no, he's been caught out here again. Ref blows up. Yellow card for Robinson. Free kick to United. Really strange. Really strange that. In terms of simulation, I did think they were going down easily, but I also thought the Basham penalty incident was a penalty. He kicked his leg. I thought we were lucky. I think if that gets given, it don't get overturned. Basham. I hate to say it, but on another note, why hasn't Eki took Archer off for Benny so he can at least play channels and get up the field instead of clearing it to nobody, no pressure? I thought he might, it was the Hamer injury that stopped this from happening. That's why Davis came on. But again, Andy the Blade had suggested this one. Archer should have come off because I suggested Traore for Archer just to get legs on. But he said, Tom Davis for Archer when we 1-0 up. Just plug that midfield. I was saying Trusty on, bash him into midfield potentially if you've got to keep Bash on. So yeah, there were a few ways we could have played it, and Archer looked gone, didn't he, towards end of game, and it worked hard, but it weren't really falling for him today. A bit of pill, but taking it as the first game of the season, we did well, but just shows what money gets you. Yeah, Neil, I think beyond our first 11, we really struggle, don't we? Really struggle. The one thing I would say is, I forgot what I'm going to say, to be honest. The one thing, because I'm that put out about it. Anyway, we'll carry on and it'll come back to me, I'm sure. But they used to call it Fergie time. Now it's Big Six time. Tim Shea would wound me up on Soccer Saturday as well without bias. That don't surprise me at all. Awful pundit. Awful. It's difficult when you lose like that. We should not get out of the players. They were outstanding for 90 minutes. We were robbed, but we stay positive each game. They're getting better. The wins will come. That's what I was going to say. Thank you, Brian. You've jogged my memory there. I know Neil said he's taking this as the first game of the season. Well, if you think about it properly, since the window's shut, this is the first. We've had this team now for like 3 games. This is the 3rd game. So, and we've played Tottenham, we've played Man City. I genuinely think that we're getting better all the time. Listen, we're under Kosh for a lot of that game. But come Newcastle, and it'll be harder without McBurney. At Bramall Lane, I fully expect us to have a great go at them. and would not surprise me at all if we turn Newcastle over next week. It's one of them, isn't it? Really, I can't shake it. I thought I'd calm down, and I've come on to try and be positive because there are loads of positives to take from today. Yeah, we'd have robbed them if we'd have beat them, but particularly in first half, I thought there were some really strong spells from us. I thought we looked really good at times. Thought Robinson was outstanding today, so did I, Mr. V, to be honest. Was our man of the match, but McBurney getting the red card has really hurt our goal-scoring ability. And that was never in a million years a second yellow. I mean, McBurney goal-scoring ability, I can't make that argument, to be honest. But I think he certainly has a positive impact on the team. Who partners Archer now? Do we have a partner for Archer, or does he go up top on his own, maybe with McAtee supporting and Norwood coming into the midfield? It's going to be an interesting mix as to how he goes. Does he put a Sula or Traore up alongside Archer, which I don't think would be as potent? We'd certainly control more of the game if McAtee was allowed to sort of drift, and we had 3 in midfield already. Interesting. Only one person's robbed us this season by not spending and giving us some strength in depth. That train's never late, is it, Chirac? This team's going to be knackered and shot by Crimbo. Multiple injuries and fatigue just around the corner. Then we're done. Andy Myers, don't know how much more losing in the final minutes devastation I can take. Seems to hurt more in this league. It does, pal. It does. And the problem we've got is, I was saying to me, Dad, it's these sort of games, before they'd scored at all, it's these sort of games that define your season. If we hang on here, then it could really sort of kickstart our season. If we draw, which is what we're thinking, or drop points, then it's a bad omen for it to happen so many times. It doesn't make you feel good, does it, at all? Long throw was brilliant today, says Andy. I agree. It was very good today. Sometimes it can be a bit wayward, can't it? But I thought he's playing well, isn't he, Robbo? I have to say. Tough to take, but these are the levels. We are what we are, but proud of the lads' effort. Can't ask any more. Well said, Michael. Well said, mate. Also disgusting from Spurs fans chucking balls on the pitch so they get a drop ball from their corner being cleared. Yeah, I think that were the ball boys, judging from what Eki was saying. Or I thought originally it had come from the crowd, so it may have done. Yeah, that ref had no idea. Absolutely no idea of how to deal with it. Basham schoolboy defending cost us the first. Absolutely. Basic stuff. But for that, we would have won the game. Get rid of the Wilder debris, including Calamity Egan and Chaos Basham. It's not 2019 now, says David. Strong. But I think some might agree. Speaking of Wilder, the latest is a link, an astray link. I've not had any confirmation of this, so I'll just pass it over to you if you've heard anything. But this is where we talk about the ongoing news and what might be happening. Chris Wilder's been rumoured to be returning tonight. I think there's a link somewhere. I'll try and link it on Twitter. I know a few at Ramblers have brought up in group chat and sent it round. So, yeah, apparently, and I can't remember, is it Mail Online? So there you go. That tells you everything, doesn't it? But there's a few little whispers saying, well, I know somebody close to Wilder that says there might be legs to it and things of that nature. I am not confirming any of this, and I would be absolutely shocked if they were considering Eki's position at this stage. But what would you think to that, potentially, if Wilder were to come back? Played well over 90 minutes, says Kev, but extra time killed us. Extra time, yeah, it was. I know you've been saying that in chat as well. Spurs fans didn't help throwing balls onto the pitch. Agreed. Chirac making the usual comments again. Please enlighten us all to how no money's been spent. Never known anyone come out with so much negativity and dross like you do against United, says Yoza. He doesn't think Chirac's a United fan. It's the most corrupt league in the world, says Ollie. 12 minutes is an absolute disgrace. Don't even get me started on McBurney's red card. Absolutely devastated, says Wolfgang. And congratulations on your recent marriage as well, pal. On the plus side, if we go down, we don't have to put up with the Prem anymore. I hate the Prem. It's the London of football. Absolutely gutted, says LA. Defended so well. Madison was always on at the ref. Shame you can't book him in the tunnel. We go again. Positives, says Wolfgang. We've been a much better account of ourselves than Burn Lol. We've been ahead in 2 games in a row. We've scored 4 games in a row. Robbo for the Ballon d'Or. Yeah. Nah. Boring football. Oh, I disagree. I thought we went for it a little bit. Listen, we were under Kosh, as I say. Our own fault, says Matt. Time wasting was always going to come back and bite us. I didn't like us time wasting. I just thought it's not really us, and it don't sit well. Jimmy says, despite the loss, I still think come May will be okay. Many positives to take from today. I agree. I think, like I said, there's 3 games now that we've had this team, or the main bulk of this team together. We're only getting better, and to not go to Spurs and turn them over isn't, the end of the world. Time wasting. I didn't see United fans throwing balls onto the pitch. That's true, Gaza. True. Premier League Wes. Apologies. Left side of the box must be his Achilles heel. Justin Wilder's been linked back with us. If it's true, the Prince has got to get out of our club, says Ellie. Matt Bright, only one waste of time. Dull, slow, and predictable football. Been supporting the Blades for over 65 years, says Michelle, and I think this was the worst loss I've ever seen. Yeah, it's hammer blowing it. Hammer blow. Can't see where the win comes from, says Steve. Oh, I can. I think we have every chance of getting a win on Sunday next week. Soiki's interview, says Kev. Refereeing was appalling. The ref sent McBurney off for someone pulling his shirt. Someone elbowed Wes in the face, and I think he only got a yellow. That's right. It's the manner of the defeat that's so gutting, says Wolfgang. I genuinely would have taken 2-1 and a good, solid defensive performance without parking the bus before the game. Absolutely. Battled really well, says Paul. I think the injury time was about right. Time wasting, Wes injury, Bogle injury, goal, and loads of subs. Yeah, I agree. At least I don't think there was 12 minutes worth of injury time in the second half. I think if you would have added it up over both halves, then I think it probably comes to somewhere around 12 in total, probably. Multi-ball was a joke. Spuds used as part of their game plan. Spurs used it as part of their game plan. I think that's auto-corrected you, pal. Listen to Hecky's interview. Hecky was right. Ball's being chucked on the pitch. For them to win a drop ball is ridiculous. Free kick should go the other way. I think it did the second time, to be fair. I think we got the free kick. For me, it's bye-bye conditioning coach and defence coach. James, you raise a great point and something I wanted to touch on. Because we're getting done defensively, lapsing concentration. I know people talk about that. We've always been a very defensively solid side, certainly in the last few years. We've also always been a very fit side, but we're being done in the last few minutes in the defence. So is it conditioning? Is it the defensive coach? I think questions need to be asked, to be honest. Absolutely gutted, says Doug. Absolutely gutted. Yeah, me too. One set of rules for us and another for them. Always be when it's a big club. What's this rumour of Wilder coming back? I know. I'm happy to talk about it. Love Basham, but looked out of his depth today. Our right side was the weakest. Yeah, they immediately saw, listen, I'm about this for a change. They immediately saw that our right-hand side was our weakness. And they hammered it. So it used to be left in it all the time. All went off with. Is that? Oh, did they? All right. So those injured players that we were talking about went off with cramp. All grief, Jackie Longthrow gets, especially you, Jimmy. You owe him a pat on the back. He's proven himself for me long enough. Yeah, I know you posted that earlier, but I agree. I think I've got to hold my hands up and say he's playing really well at the minute. All 3 that went off were cramps, so that's okay. It's all about lack of spending it, and then you're saying squad depth is the problem. I'm sure someone's been banging on about this. I love Sheffield United, and that is that. Manila Blade, nice one, pal. Can you tell me why McBurney got sent off? I think that'll have been covered now, pal, but if you're still struggling, let me know. There's 3 teams worse than us. Completely agree, and we can't forget about that. We're better than Burnley. We're better than Luton. We need to be better than Wolves or Everton, for me, and we can be. We can definitely be. Poor fitness levels of Costas and subs. McBurney was dead on his feet from 80 minutes. Yeah, he was. He was never going to bring McBurney off for me. He loves to keep him on for defensive headers, but he was absolutely blowing. Midfield and defence need to stop booting it long all the time. It's a panic move, isn't it? Anyone heard about the Wilder rumours? Not seeing this gutted since Forest play. Not being this gutted since Forest playoff semi-final. Yeah. Brewster might be an option to partner Archer against Newcastle. I don't think he'll be fit enough, to be honest, pal. I'd like him to be, but I don't think he'll. And he certainly wouldn't play him from start, would he, with the amount of time he's been out? We didn't need to time waste to the extent we did. Agree. Annoyingly, it came back to bite us. It's so annoying. Evening, Rich. Evening, pal. Brewster back in training. We need more quality on that bench. Thomas, man of the match for me. Yeah, I won't disagree. I won't disagree with that. I thought Thomas was great. Wilder won't be coming back. That's daft. No to Wilder. Oh, my goodness. Evening, Jimmy. I'm absolutely gutted. Big Six always get the rub of the green. I haven't seen much of it. So we'll watch match of the day and see how much the Hill Lords Spurs. Look on the bright side. We are fighting. We are. I like that, Rich. We are indeed. No to Chrissy. We've moved on. There's a lot of no to Wilder. Is it true what he said in post-match that Wes needed stitches after the game for the shiner he received from Spurs play? Yeah, I believe so. You just know we're not going to... still pleased with how the club is being managed? Or am I still pleased with the club that's being managed? We've not given Eki any chance to keep us up. I feel for him. I disagree. I think you look at our first 11, it's good enough to stay up. The problem has always been, well, certainly for us now, is the depth. Also, Wilder's coming back to defence coach, director of football. Oh, God. An L up front for the Newcastle game. He can edit, gangly, awkward, just the job. It's left field, but who plays it back? Missed the Baldock leadership, need him back for next week. Yeah, we do. Love George Baldock. You just know we're not going to get decisions all season. It's a team that's just got promoted. Unless you're the top 6 clubs, forget about it. Forget about it. Refs are rubbish. I don't know if you spoke about it, but Wilder back to the lane. Parting gift by the Prince. I don't know why everyone's saying Wilder back isn't a great idea. He'd slot him perfectly at right centre back. Nice touch. Agree, considers beating Newcastle Sunday, but defending a lead won't work for us in the Prem. We need to close the opposition down. The best form of defence is offence. I think that suited us well tonight, to be honest, that sort of mentality. I liked it. The strength in depth these top 6 have on the bench is like putting a new team on. It's night and day, innit? Absolute night and day. Think Bournemouth might struggle, hopefully. I hope so, obviously, Jack, but I think they've strengthened okay, to be honest. Evening, Craig. Your beers taste good. I'm pleased with that. At least every cloud, mate. Keep Eki, no to Wilder. All I can say is flipping gutted. Are you all actually going back in for Wilder? Says Matthew. That is the rumour. That is the room, and it is a very light rumour at the minute. No real substance to it. Just an article and a couple of whispers going around that people close to Wilder are saying he's been spoken to. I've had no confirmation of it. I think, what do you think, though? What do you think? Do you think it'd be a good move? Listen, I absolutely love Chris Wilder. He gave me the best times I've had as a Sheffield United fan. But I never thought I'd say this, but not that I wouldn't take Wilder, because I would. And I understand why people would be reluctant. But I don't think Eki's done enough wrong. I think he's got a good thing going here as Eki. And look, the results don't show it. But I'm confident it'll come. We're playing well. What has Paul done wrong, please? Let's not look back. Eki is a great boss, says Susan. Yeah, in agreement. Thanks, Prince, for screwing us over. And the Tin Pot car salesman Betty's. Go on then, Lee. Do you want to elaborate? I'm happy to take your point. I'm not. I just don't know on what aspect. Is that because you don't feel Eki was backed in the summer? I'm not too sure. Be interesting to see how much of the day I edit today's game, because I have a feeling it's going to be very favourable towards Spurs. Absolutely right. Keep Eki, says Gaza. Spurs are the form team, and we ran into them in extra time. I know. We're only losing to top teams by 1 goal. We should pick up some wins against the mid-table clubs. Yeah, we should, Paul. But again, I've mentioned this before as well. I think we rise to the level of opposition. And that is great against the bigger clubs. And it doesn't always serve as well against the mid to lower clubs. Newcastle beating Brentford at the minute, so confidence will be high for Sunday. I think Newcastle will do a win, but I don't think they're firing on all cylinders at the minute. It says us sat on 1 point. Eki said Baldock out for 2 weeks, and it's a big no from me for a Wilder return from Mr. Vancouver. I ain't had one yes yet, I don't think, for Wilder. Don't think they'll show the elbow match of the day. I wonder why. Wilder abandoned us, says James. Why should he come back now when we're back up again? Doesn't deserve to manage us this time. Spoken about what position? Not manager, surely. Yeah, that's the rumour, Adam. The rumour. Wilder and he is number 2. He's not going to go back down to being a number 2 now. No chance. How far is Brewster off? He's training, Gary. He's back in training with the rest of the lads. He has said in an interview that he's trying to manage him very carefully and sort of manage him against himself because Brewster's desperate to get back involved. But because of his history with the injuries and the similar injuries to his hamstring, they're trying to be very cute with his return. Get Big Morgan on the coaching for the back. Absolutely. Chris Morgan, Jack O'Connell, Phil Jagielka, people that know the club. Get him in. I can understand Wilder as a director of football, but Keith Eki is doing a great job. Director of football, what would his responsibilities be for you then, Dave, as a director of football? Because I'm making the assumption, and I might be wrong, that you are just wanting Wilder in as sort of an extra voice. But a director of football tends to look at the contracts and do all the deals and sort of go back a bit of a Betis role at the minute. So let me know what you're thinking if it's any different to that. I want to make sure Brewster won't re-damage his hammy. That's right. Don't rush him back. How did Trusty play? We didn't get to see the game. Okay. Didn't do anything wrong. Didn't have enough time to really influence anything, to be honest. Basham should not be starting, says Paul. Shows the lack of depth of the squad, unfortunately. Certainly does. What do you think to Robinson again? Thought it was class today. Not put a foot wrong yet. Still time, though. Yeah, there's always time. Okay, but yeah, I hold my hands up. I think he's playing well at the minute. Didn't notice Trusty, but he were only on for what? Well, last 5 minutes of normal time. What was the news on Wes? Will he be fit for Newcastle game? Wonder what match of the day guys think about our game today. Well, Kev, I must say, I think he'll be fit for Newcastle. But when he keeps going down on deck, I am absolutely petrified that he's going to be injured and we're not going to have... Because, I've been hot and cold on Wes, but I think I've got to, again, like Robinson, I've got to hold my hands up and say he's done a very good job, particularly today, but he's doing a good job at the moment. If we lose Wes, that is a massive problem because Adam Davis, I'm not convinced. Take that how you will. Hecky must be given time. I think he will be, Rich. I think he will. I'd be absolutely amazed if this Wilder story is true. It's too long an explanation for a YouTube channel, but simply business management tells why you think I can demonstrate that. Okay. Sorry, that weren't a dig, pal. It was just a case of adding a bit of context. That's all. We can't be looking at other teams hoping they will struggle. We need to do what we can do and we'll be sound. No looking behind ahead. We move forward. Got some good potential. It's coming. Come on. I get that, Craig, and I would love to have that mentality, but being realistic and the position that we're in, we need 3 teams to be worse than us. So people that say they don't look at the table and all that sort of thing, and last year people said that they weren't looking at Middlesbrough's results and later Luton's results and Burnley's results. I don't believe them because it's only human nature to think we need... If we win here and they mess up, then we are closer to where we want to be. You've got to take other teams into consideration. But, idealistically, your thought process is right. We should only focus on us. Wow, unbelievable. I'd be disinterested in that, says Adam. I love Hecky and I think he'll get us the points in time. We have been unlucky. Hi, Ricky. I think we're playing well. We were unlucky today against the top 6 side at their place. Yeah, absolutely. All these behind-the-scenes videos, but Mark Hudson hasn't been seen in one. Is he even at the club? That's a good point. I've not seen him, actually. I haven't watched the latest one fully, but I haven't seen him. Ecky's done more than enough to be given a full season in the Premier and keep faith. I agree with that. No to Wilder, says Chirac. Yoza got me blocked in a YouTube chat. That's a sign of fear, and Blades show no fear. So he must be the pig. He also okay with spending hardly any cash, which leads to us going down. I love Chrissy, but we've moved on. Stop the rumours now. Not a good time for Paul, says Gary. I might be in that boat, to be honest. Having Wilder as director of football relieves Hecky from the administrative stuff and lets him concentrate on team tactics, etc. I get that, but I would not say that Wilder's strength is the administrative side. I think he's a brilliant man manager. I think he's really astute and clever tactically. Just my opinion. And that is Ecky's job, isn't it, essentially, at the moment? So I think you have to replace him rather than bring Wilder in as another body. I think you'd have to, if you're bringing Wilder in, it's as manager. Listening to this on the way back 59 years, and it still hurts so much. Oh, mate. Don't worry about what the biased chaps on Match of the Day say. We're not important to them. Listen, that for me, that works in our favour. Keep us, the narrative around us that we're not going to cause anybody any problems. We're going to go down easy without a fight, blah, blah, blah. We will turn up and punish someone. This will definitely happen at some point this season because people will underestimate us. Tottenham were absolutely over the moon to win today. And listen, the fashion that they've done it, obviously they're going to be euphoric, but they knew they were in a real slog today. It wouldn't surprise me if some of them were coming out afterwards and saying, fair play to United. And they certainly should be. Whether they have or not, I'm not sure. Can't betray Hecky at this stage. Don't agree with all his tactics, but he's doing good. Yeah, I sometimes question it myself, Craig. There are a couple of subs that I might have done differently today, but he's the gaffer. In terms of his record with us, I think Hal read it out on his match reaction. I think that was his 100th game, and I might be wrong, because as I said, this is third hand, and he's won 51 games. So he's got a 51% win percentage. And we're talking about sacking him because he hadn't beat Man City and, lost the lead at Tottenham. It's very premature for me. At least you have a video for September, a video idea for September's, for me daily rambles, Wilder versus Eke. Cheers, Scott. Scared to death of Wes getting injured and Davies playing in the Premier League. That's a scary thought and would definitely lower our chances. 100%, Mr. V, it would. 100% it does. As daft as it seems, Wes is in the top 3 goalkeepers this season. I'm not. Well, it might be. It might be. I think a lot of these stats that have come out are based on the volume that he's faced rather than what he's conceded, etc., than an average that it should be. But he has played well. He has played well. Robbo, man of the match again, pity the people who wrote him off. That's me. I hold my hands up. We'll be waiting for his first poor performance to jump on the bandwagon. No, I'll try not to. Can't promise, but I'll try not to. We don't want CW back. We need to move on, says Eki and Dave. Yeah, I wonder what Eki out Sal thinks. Don't want CW back. Hope you're having a good time, pal. I don't really blame the defensive coach. We're up against world-class forwards most weeks and don't have world-class defenders. No, we don't. You're right. Man, you're worse than us. I hope so. They could be included in teams that perform worse, couldn't they? Love Wilder, but Eki deserves to keep his job. Football is crazy, says Michael. Absolutely right, it is, pal. Eki all the way, says Ricky. We'll be fine. We're staying up. Love that confidence. Love that confidence. The good news is we lost, but Spurs fans have to live in London. So I guess we would get the last laugh. Yeah, that's true. Nicely, nice. Can you imagine Wilder coming in now? Hecky feel that screams of we don't trust you, Hecky. Wilder should only come in as a replacement for Hecky, and that should be at the end of the season, if any time. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. No way people are seriously considering sacking Hecky. I would hope not. I think said it against Everton. At least we aren't Wednesday at the bottom of the Championship. They have apparently been atrocious today. Lost to Ipswich at Hillsborough. Didn't have a shot on target. Just heard that on Football 11 coming back. So every cloud. Not much damage to goal difference, which may be important. Absolutely right, Susan, and a key point. It's just the odd goal, isn't it, at the minute? Obviously, we don't want it to happen, but if it's going to happen, let's not get hammered. Didn't Bash get elbowed in the face before the McBurney red card? Didn't see it, pal. Refs. No yellow for the elbow. Ridiculous. Don't want to be funny, but I keep saying Wes and Robbo are sound, says John. Jack was colossal today. I cannot argue that point, nor will I attempt to. So I'm going to call it early there, just so that, I've come to the end of the comments. And I don't want to keep on as long as possible, but I think we've got to be positive overall. We keep showing signs of improvement. It will turn eventually. What you always tend to find is teams that outperform their XG, which is the expected goals, and aren't performing well but still winning, eventually drop off because the performances aren't there to sustain it. While our XG might not be huge, we are performing very well, and eventually results will turn. The fear I have is first team players dropping the standards. So difficult position to be in, but we have to go again next week. We have to dust ourselves down. We haven't done the business yet. We were off to a slow start for reasons we understood. But now, with every chance of picking up points in every game, there's no such thing as a free hit. I am confident we will turn over a big hitter this season. They will not be ready for us, and we will take them out. We've played 2 of them. We've almost done it in a second game. So I'm more than confident. And once we get that win, we have to start riding some momentum. So I have every faith. Join me tomorrow for a ramble, because it is the return of Andy the Blade. He's coming back by popular demand. I have twisted his arm to the point where he sees no other option but to come on just to shut me up. So thank you to everybody that has badgered him. The first thing we're going to talk about, because he's going to come on for a few over the next few days, which is amazing. And the thing we're going to talk about that has been requested is his scouting background and a little bit about it and how it sort of affected him in terms of supporting United and things of that nature. So join us for that. That'll likely be out tomorrow, probably a bit later in the day. But delighted to have my dad back on. And hopefully it'll, distract us a little bit from today's game. But keep the faith, Blades. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Blades. Come on. Positive.